Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. Get that all set up there. Thursday. It's March the 23rd, 2023. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Glad you could join us today. If you're here live, if you're catching us on the RSS feeds on the way to work, so sorry that you actually have to drive to work. Hopefully it's not like a 3-hour banger. But we got another great show lined up for you today. Before I forget to do something, hold on, let me do that, and then this, and then that, and then that, and then boom, and then bang. Got another great show as always. We've got some pretty interesting news this week, I would say, to say the least. And so we'll go over some of that and shoot the shit as usual. If it's your first time, talk about games, movies, television. Whatever the fuck strikes our fancy, really, at this point in time. And the more that this podcast goes on, the more accurate that the last part of that statement gets. It just is whatever we feel like. So just get closer and closer to whatever we feel like on any given day. But before we get started, of course, got the most important question of the week. Mr. Black, how was your week?
It was another week. Didn't do anything crazy. Been chilling.
That's true.
The last couple days off, just been relaxing. Doing
very
little
nice
bits of work, nothing crazy.
Very nice. Very nice. You saw the house for the first time. It's still in disarray, but you got over to drop some stuff off, and you got to see the
nice
new
setup.
pad.
Yeah.
I every time I look back, I remember when we first bought the house, and I walked downstairs and I walked into this room. Jeff knows he's been here now. And I walked into the room and I was like, and obviously everything's wide open and completely empty. And I was like, God damn, I'm going back to having my office like I used to have in my first place. I had such a fucking fire setup. It was so comfortable. Everything just worked flawlessly. I wasn't like tripping over top of shit. Everything was just nice and open and breezy. I'm a pretty big guy. I need a little bit of space. And then as the project continued on and on and on, I went, wait a minute. This is going to have to, my office is going to have to be a little smaller. And then the next month, got a little smaller. The next month, got a little smaller. And now you walk in the room, and it's like a fucking 8-foot square. I've got so much shit crammed in this fucking room. It's insane.
A lot of electronics in there.
There's a lot of electronics in here. And so don't light a cigarette in here. Something might go up in flames. But otherwise, my week was pertaining to the house. Another week as well, where as Jeff would have saw as he went upstairs yesterday, just boxes everywhere. Just shit, just fucking anywhere you can find a spot. I got snow pants laying over top of random furniture. Shit's just fucking everywhere. And so it's just a wake up and do it kind of week. This week was a big one though, because I technically finished my taxes finally. I sent that off to him. I still haven't heard whether or not he saw the email. Last time it took him like 2 weeks to get back to me, so I don't have that much time left. I'm gonna have to still poke and prod him every fucking day until I hear back from him.
Yep.
But I had to dig out a bunch of paperwork and whatnot for the house and stuff to add to the taxes this year. And so I did the thing that I've been putting off forever, ever since we started, putting the house together and whatnot. I hadn't organized any of the bills or whatever that big. I always get paper shit because I don't trust online. So everything I still get is paper, and I hadn't been organizing or doing any of that shit for like a year and a half. And so I had mounds of unopened letters and fucking bills and shit. I mean, I know how much I have to pay, so I didn't have to open them. I just keep them for my records and shit. And I took an entire day, just 12 straight fucking hours till my eyes bled, sorting through every piece of paper from almost 2 straight calendar years of just shit that had piled up, emptied out my filing cabinet of stuff I didn't need anymore. I had my entire university work in the bottom drawer of my filing cabinet, in manila envelopes, sorted by class. So, if I ever want to go back, I can just be like, hey, remember when I paid all that money for university? This is the sum total of all of my fucking knowledge. Right here.
Go.
And then burn it. but for now, it's in a banker box and put away. So did that. So that was good. That was like a weight off my shoulders, because it was one of those things you look at it and it kept getting bigger, and the bigger it gets, the less you want to fucking do it. And so it was a nice one to get done, and so that was kind of this week. Dad and I built another shelf thing back there for us to be able to store more shit in that back room, and otherwise it was just another week. Em won't be going out west after all. We finally decided no on that. She would have had to have gone out by herself. I wasn't a big fan. She wouldn't have had a coworker going with her this time. The last couple times she didn't like the idea of her being in the, like, northern BC by herself in a random fucking town for a month. Too many variables for my liking. And so, not least of which was last time she went, as you would remember, her luggage just fucking up and disappeared for extended periods of time. And so, it was good for her back then. She had somebody with her because she had clothes and other shit that she could borrow and whatnot. So she's not doing that anymore. So we've been figuring out other stuff as well, and that's been our week. But let's get on to talking about a little bit of some video game news. Got some actual bangers this week as far as video game news is concerned. Let's just start off with probably the most, people have been talking about it off and on in pockets. A lot of the times when they when they brought it up, people were like, you're fucking insane. There's no way they're going to do it. They don't make games anymore. And then we talked about it last week as well, here on the podcast, that it seemed like it was going through, and sure shit, this week, CSGO 2. Properly and fully announced. Not in the way that some people probably would have expected it to be announced, but nevertheless, it was via like a dev trailer where they were showing off all the work they did with the smoke grenades.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? I gotta be honest. Oh, I saw it. I was like, two things. One, dope. Two, that's fucking brave, bro. That is a game that has been untouched for so long, and you're gonna do something as dramatic. Probably the most. That's probably, if you changed one thing in CSGO to do the most, like that would change the game the most, changing the smokes and how they act is probably the number one thing that you could choose to do. And they went and fucking did it. And I think more impressive than anything, I haven't really seen any of the long-time CSGO like be negative.
Nah, bro. It seems like everybody is excited.
Which blew my mind. I was like, oh, this is going to go bad.
Yeah, no, it seems to be going really, really well, and it looks good. So, I think this was a good time to do it. People didn't realize they wanted it until they saw it. And so, let's just hope it runs well. If it runs well, then, well, shit.
Oh, that shit's going to run well, bro.
Oh yeah.
They
ain't coming out with this if they were unsure how it's going to run. That shit has been tested. That shit has been through the ringer. And there's probably a lot of people that knew about this that had signed NDAs. And I think this thing is going to blow up.
It's going to be 1,000 FPS on a potato, guaranteed. And a lot of people are going to get very hype about it, and they already are. I'm interested in how much effort Valve themselves put into the launch of the game. Do they put on a tournament, an invitational? Do they do something really bombastic? Or do they just release this fucking game and let the CSGO community do it for them? Like, how much effort do they have to put in? They probably don't have to put in much. I suspect there are probably already events being worked out right now as we speak for the full release of this game. And that's going to be a fun time to watch. I'm very interested. We mentioned this last week as well. We talked about it at length. About whether or not we thought, or what the impact we thought might be on Valorant, how many people might switch back to CSGO 2 from Valorant, who switched from CSGO to Valorant originally, how many might stay, etc., etc. And what I'm most interested in is that after the first month, when the honeymoon phase, calms down a little bit, is what are the viewer numbers for CSGO? Because CSGO's been on the fucking, up and up, not just in terms of player count. We talked about that last week as well. Set records, just like last week. But how is the esports scene and the general the Twitch experience, the YouTube and stuff? What are the creatives going to be getting out of this? But by the looks of it so far, it looks like everyone's going to be eating at the table, Mr. Black.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be successful. I think it's going to blow up. Yeah. I don't have anything else to add.
It's kind of hard to. CSGO 2, all you have to do is say the word CSGO 2. It'd be like everything, it's written for you. You're done. You've managed it. All you have to do is not fuck up too hard. And honestly, if you think about it, there were a lot of ways they could have fucked this up. And there's still some ways they could fuck it up. But so far, it seems like they're okay.
They'll be all right.
They'll be okay. On the same day, however, Fortnite Creative 2.0. Did you see any of the footage for this shit?
No, I didn't.
Whew! Boy, okay, so Fortnite Creative, of course, is like it's what it sounds like if you don't know at home or Mr. Black here. It's basically like it's basically like Halo Forge, map builder, modes. You've got pretty extensive control over pretty much everything, and people are already cranking out some certified bangers. And dude, the visuals now that they're on Unreal 5 are just. It's disgusting.
They'll probably look insane, yeah.
It just doesn't even look like Fortnite.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, just look up Fortnite Creative 2.0, and you might just see like random clips of shit. Bro, I mean, you know what happens the moment you release something like this? Everyone starts recreating, game maps from like their most beloved games. Every Call of Duty fucking map on Earth is gonna get put into this thing. People trying to like recreate various other scenarios from games in Fortnite Creative 2.0, and I have to say, I have in my notes, if this bitch gets full and proper first person mode at some point, shit's gonna get fucking real. This is gonna be like, I think we're gonna be in some sort of like I don't know if it's utopian or dystopian future. You seeing this shit?
That's pretty dope.
Where it's gonna be Roblox versus fucking Fortnite, because you got like Roblox pumping out full-blown first-person shooters, and Fortnite's not far behind, except Fortnite gonna look a lot better than Roblox, I think, on average. And so they're just, you know what? This is a good year for creatives in general. You've got Halo Forge coming. You've got Fortnite Creative 2.0. You've got CSGO coming out, which also has, of course, a map creator that's been updated, so you're going to get updated maps and stuff from the community on that front. Everyone's going to be getting these out, and it's going to be a big year for people doing this kind of creative community type stuff. It almost, it's going to be reminiscent, I think, of back when Halo 3 was so huge and the Forge like ran the fucking creative space for a long time. All of the various mini games and stuff that came out, or even like, the StarCraft, Warcraft scene with Dota coming out of Warcraft, and all of the amazing arcade games that came out of the Brood War scene back then, and even to an extent later on StarCraft 2. But certainly this is very reminiscent of like the late 90s, early aughts of the creative scene, except now the tools are way more robust, and shit's gonna get fucking crazy. I'm gonna be very interested to see what comes out of all of these systems, and also how they moderate a lot of these systems, because you're gonna be able to very accurately recreate much of pre-existing, not from the same developer type situations in a lot of these creative engines, and we all know the typical, once everyone draws a penis, everyone goes and tries to make Nuketown. And so we'll find out how that pans out. But I'm excited because there's a lot of great tech out there for the creative people to get their hands on, and it will be a good time. But not to be outdone, Mr. Black, you can't forget the perennial holiday classic, the game that still lets me down more than anything, I think, to this day, other than maybe Overwatch, Apex. Apex, the game with so much fucking. It's got the sauce, and yet somehow it's kind of like a dude to borrow some Zoomer term, and Gen Alpha terminology here. It's kind of like a dude, super fucking attractive guy. You think he's got the money, he's got the fucking everything. He's dressed well, he puts himself together, but he's got zero, and this is the most cringe word in circulation. He's got zero Riz, Mr. Black. Zero. The Riz. Apex lacks Riz. It's not the Rizzler. It does not have any game to speak of. It's got all the parts. It should. But it somehow doesn't. But you know what? Not to be left out, they said, all right, well, Fortnite Creative 2.0, CSGO 2, we got to get an announcement out there today. We can't be left in the dust. And so they were like, all right, if this tweet gets 10,000 likes, we'll put out a swimsuit model for one of the characters. I can't remember which fucking character it is. It's one of the super fucking thick, probably a million Rule 34, just porn fucking everywhere. Like, if we get to 10,000 likes, we'll make your fantasies reality. And so they did, and they put it out, and it's a super mid-looking skin, but they did it, not to be forgotten. They did the thing. This could go in either segment, unfortunately, but John Wick star and beloved Zavala voice actor among so many other things. I believe he's also The Wire amongst several other TV and movie projects, and liked by just about everyone he worked with. Lance Reddick passed away this week, entirely too young at the age of 60. Shit was crazy. To my knowledge, I don't think the family has stated beyond natural causes what it was that took him, but at that age, either he was, and this is more common now in Hollywood too. There's a lot of actors and actresses that are walking around with some like bordering on terminal illness that they just don't say shit until basically they're right up on it, or they beat it, one or the other. And so I don't know if it was a situation where he had some pretty nasty health conditions that he just wasn't making public, or if this was just another one of those, he had an aneurysm or like a heart attack or something of those lines. But 60 is way too fucking young. Everyone on the John Wick cast is fucking devastated by it. His character was one of the central characters to the film series, and one of my favorites too. I mean, he played that character so fucking well. It's I can't imagine anyone else playing that character. Between the accent that he chose, he was very like the demeanor he had was perfect for the hotel.
It was very similar. Yeah, it was like similar to in Breaking Bad. You saw Breaking Bad, right? Yeah, like remember Gus? The
Gus Fring?
The owner of the
Los Pollos Loco.
Yeah. He kind of had that sort of vibe to him. It's like, just a guy you don't really fuck with.
The unassuming but don't fuck with me type.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was good. It was good.
And he brought like a lot of I liked how he handled his interactions with John Wick's character, because he gave his interactions with John Wick, especially in the first movie. Because like we talked about before with John Wick in the first film, is that so much of what makes John Wick as a character enticing is how the environment and then the people in the environment react to him just being there, and how they talk with him and how they talk about him and whatnot, and how Lance's character interacts with John when he's at the Continental was one of the biggest pieces to what gave you this mythological feeling about John Wick, just the way that he talked with him and addressed him and dealt with him. And so he'll be sorely fucking missed in a lot of places. My God, this man was, and he was on the up and up too. I'm salty as fuck, because he was getting his hands on everything. He's the only reason that Resident Evil show was even worth attempting to watch. I watched like 6-7 episodes of that bitch or whatever the fuck it was.
I couldn't even watch one, bro. I was like, nah, I can't do it.
He was literally the only reason to watch that show. He did such a good job of making the character a totally different version of Wesker. But oh my God, that show was bad otherwise. Nevertheless, condolences to the family. And I can't remember, I meant to write it down. The family is requesting that if you do want to do something in his name, they do have an organization for donating to. I just can't remember which one it is right now. You'll find it on almost any video that they've been posting, whether it's for John Wick 4 or Destiny or whatnot. At the end of almost all of them, they have an end card that lists that shit specifically from the family, so you can find that information pretty readily, I'm sure. And so if you're interested, then keep an eye out for that. Elden Ring. Oh God, I did not think about the order in which I fucking wrote these, Jeff. I just didn't do it. I did not think about the order in which I wrote these. I'm just talking about Lance Reddick fucking passing away, and the next thing I put is Elden Ring has claimed a lot of deaths. Some 9 billion, in fact. Meanwhile, the legendary helpful hero Let Me Solo Her, who, if you don't know who Let Me Solo Her is a player that would stand around and wait to be summoned to help with a very specific boss in Elden Ring. I don't know if Let Me Solo Her was also in doing stuff in some of the previous Dark Souls games. But specifically for like what is considered the game's hardest boss, Millennia, As it turns out, Let Me Solo Her has now stated that they're going to take on their biggest challenge yet, which is a mod for Elden Ring in which every single enemy in the game is replaced with millennia.
Okay. Have fun.
That's, you know what? Fucking, you know what? It doesn't even shock me because we've already talked about it in the past. The Dark Souls community is insane. You've got people going out there doing like the I can't remember what they call the run, but it's the one where they play every single Dark Souls game and do it without getting hit once.
Yeah.
Like if you can do that.
Well, I mean, speaking of that, last night I watched a video of a guy beating the world record on Mario 64. Did you?
Oh,
see
you're
that?
talking about Green Suigi, the young bud, the guy that's out there crushing every fucking dude. I've been watching Suigi for about a year and change now.
Last night he beat the world record, I think, for
he did.
I think it was
16
stars or something, and he didn't just beat it. He absolutely murdered it. And it was like, it was to the point where he literally didn't make a mistake. So like he pretty much, there's no
There were like a couple things he even joked while he was doing the run, like when you watch it. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, he was slow in the menu," or he fucked up a pipe, like a pipe or something like that, which is like, we're talking about 0.2 of a second or some shit, and he's like runs over, ruin the run, boys. But in general, not only did he not make any mistakes, but for those who like were watching it and didn't understand some of the stuff they did, there was some stuff that there were some tricks that he did in there that you typically don't ever attempt because they're so difficult to get to work that normally you just ruin your run. And some of the tricks some of those tricks happen so late in the run, and the chat was like, "Fucking excuse me? What are you doing? Why are you trying this shit right now? You're literally crushing your fucking record. Why are you going for it?"
All of a sudden, once he gets like 75% through, then the chat's just like, "I was here. I was here. I was here. I was
Hi,
here."
YouTube.
Go crazy. And then you could see that he was progressively getting more intense. Like first he was talking, chilling,
This
talking to
motherfucker
chat,
stood up to get his towel, was like wiping his hands off and shit.
Down. He's, I'm like, God damn. I went on Twitter and I was like, bro, it's time to frame the controller, pack it up, move on to the next game, because you've peaked. You have peaked.
It's no joke. I actually think that might be a candidate for the greatest singular run in speedrunning in any game ever.
Yeah, in history of speedruns. Like, it doesn't get any better than that. Like, it's so impressive. Like, I'm watching it and my brain is like going, what the fuck?
I mean, Suigi, so if you don't know, chat, if you don't know about Suigi in general, so he's a relatively young guy, and he's a speedrunning fucking god for Mario 64. He kind of came out of nowhere a while back and just started like, he's posting some shit, and then out of nowhere he just starts fucking crushing shit and getting some scary fucking runs. And he was trading blows with various categories for world record. And most recently, actually in the same week, he set the world record for 1 star. So he's got the 1 star record again. And now he's got the 16-star record again, which the record that he beat was his own record. So
yeah, but he beat it by like fucking 5 seconds or 7 seconds or
6 or 7
nuts.
seconds. Yeah. So he went from like, it was like 40, 16, was it 1640 something or 14? I can't remember what the minute time is, but the seconds was 40 something was the last record.
It was like at, I think, and then
43 or 44.
Was it 43?
And then he got 35. He ended at a 35.
Yeah.
He ended at a 35. So, and that's before anyone else on the list got into the 40s. So he was already way ahead of everyone else. Nobody had even gotten into the 40s.
1435, yeah.
And now it's 1435. So he already had like it almost insurmountable for a lot of people. And now it's just like, wrap it up. Now you're fighting, my tweet was, everyone, you're going to be watching from Mount fucking Olympus, and all the plebeians are going to be fighting for second place, because it ain't coming for first.
Bro, it was one of the most absolute nerdiest, dweebest.
But did you get the nerd chills watching that shit, though?
Bro, the nerd chills I got.
Yes!
Man, like when he was screaming, and
the emotion, dude.
Yeah, it was like it was such. Like, if I saw somebody screaming like that in a video game, I'd be like, dude, this guy, bro, get a fucking life. but seeing what he went through, it was just pure emotion. He didn't even
Oh
know
my
how to
God.
comprehend what was going on. And it was such an achievement, bro, that I'm sitting there in bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm never up that late. And I got
Was your heart racing?
I got a shit grin on my face, right? And I'm like fist pumping and shit. I'm like, yeah. I'm like feeling it with them. It was some good shit, man.
Dude, it's fucking nutty. Yeah, I've been watching him for a while, and I knew he was dangerous. If he got really good at like the really stupid technical shit of like for example the wall skips and stuff, which are a nightmare. Like they can make or break a run all the time normally, and he got all that shit. Fucking
bro.
the one that fucked me up was he got like the one in the water level that is like almost like nobody ever fucking goes for that.
He went for it.
Hit it,
destroyed it,
zero effort whatsoever. And then when he did it going into the clock tower, or the last door where he does the he gets like they'll call it the door warp. I can't remember the technical term for it. He gets through the door and then he long jumps every fucking stair, which I didn't even know was possible for you to do the long jump to go up that high. But I think it's like a damn near frame perfect fucking thing to hit every one of those. And I don't think normally in a run anyone would even fucking bother trying to do that shit. You'd probably like triple jump it or some shit. And he just hit it and he just kept going. I was like, oh my God. But his biggest talent, honest to God, if you didn't know anything about Mario 64 speedrunning, but you've played Mario 64 before, if you just watch him do the Bowser stages and see his ability, like his platforming capabilities,
it's nuts.
It looks like you're watching a task bot. It looks like you're watching a fucking bot run the level.
Yeah, it literally looks like you're watching a cheat code. Yeah, it's impressive. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that in there because
yeah. I actually meant to write that in because I watched that last night as well, and yeah, fucking huge, dude. That's absolutely mammoth. And good for him. And now you know everyone's saying, well, you know what the meme going around is? You know that one where the Reaper is going door to door, or whatever. So now it's like it's like Suigi and he's like the 1-star, 16-star, and then the next one's the 120-star. Suigi coming for that 120. You know he's gonna take that shit because now you can't
go for it now.
He's got no reason not to. Yeah. Like, he wants to be a god and just own the entire fucking Mario 64 category like a fucking legend, bro. But yeah, he's got to be on a serious high right now. I would have loved, he's one of the speedrunners that doesn't have a heart rate monitor. His heart rate must have been 180.
He lost weight during that speed run, especially towards the end. He lost fucking weight.
Oh, crazy. It looks like someone, Mr. Black, finally remembered how dope Lego Racer on the N64 was back in the day. Lego 2K Drive was announced pretty much today, if I'm not mistaken, for the Switch. Excuse me. And looks to be bringing back a little bit of that magic. Do you ever play Lego Racer on the N64 back in the day?
I might have tried it out, but it's not a game that I grinded or anything.
I owned that shit back in the day. Dude, that game was fucking pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. You could you could build all of your cars, and based on how you built it, it would of course change how that car, acted, whether, the speed, handling, all that shit. And it was, so it was very impressive, especially on the N64 back in the day. I had a lot of fun with that. And this has taken some of that shit and putting it into it's not the same thing, but it does have some of the building mechanics, for example. And it seems like it's going to be exclusive to the Switch. I haven't seen anything else, but nevertheless, it's looking pretty cool. A lot of people are probably going to give that a shot. We'll have to wait and see just how good it ends up being. But I just had to throw it in there because Lego Racer. A lot of people forget it because they never got into it. It was Mario Kart 64, Diddy Kong Racing, and that's the show.
Mm.
But you gotta give Lego Racer a shot if you haven't given it a shot. If you're into playing older games. Team Bloober. Speaking of older games, that Team Bloober Silent Hill 2 remake is reportedly ready to go. It's Bloober's now just saying it's up to Konami now as to when it releases. And so hopefully that's not too far from now. Maybe they're gonna wait for the like super stereotypical fucking like Halloween release or some shit like that. Or maybe they're just going to look, if they were smart, they would look at the calendar. This year is insane. This is like a 2004, 1998 situation for gaming. Like the game's getting released this year. So they were smart. If they want to release it this year, you want to take a look at that calendar. You don't wait for any special slot. The special slot is where can we get this bitch out with even 3 days on either side of it where a huge fucking game of the year contender ain't gonna come out and crush us. And so we'll have to wait and see when they decide to release it. I'm not like overly optimistic. Team Bloober has not been historically incredible at their job, but maybe against all odds, against the most cursed game in history, Silent Hill 2, maybe they'll finally fucking do something spectacular and be as good, for example, I'll skip a couple things down, as that new Resident Evil 4 remake, which is apparently insane.
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow, doesn't it?
Just tens everywhere, bro.
Is it coming out tomorrow?
It might be. I don't know. I don't remember the release date specifically, but are you thinking about hopping in on that magic?
Oh, I'm 100%. Yeah, I'll 100% do a full.
Because it looks like they did some good shit on that. Everyone is, unless like I've seen one person, literally one person so far, be like, this isn't the one for me. I get why people like it.
Fuck that one person.
I think it's just like they could not possibly be any more purist. Is probably why. But I mean, they've been about as true to the original as I think you could possibly hope, while making it more viable for the year 2023. Yeah, so a lot of people very excited, very stoked about that, and I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are if you're gonna hop in. We'll see what Mr. Black's take is.
I am. I might actually play it tomorrow.
Mm.
That might be the play.
Is it out tomorrow?
I think it's out now.
Oh, shit's just
yeah, it's available on Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. Available now.
Boom. There you go. I haven't heard of any issues on any of the various platforms. Obviously, you're going to be looking at it on Steam. I don't think I've heard any major issues, so you shouldn't have much of a problem. Now where am I, since I skipped ahead a little bit? Oh, right, more old games. Alongside some older Battlefield titles, EA, for whatever fucking reason, is removing the original Mirror's Edge from storefronts. Their reasoning is that it has some sort of online functionality that they no longer wish to support. And so instead of simply patching the requirement of that out of the game entirely, for one of their most popular and unique intellectual properties, they're just going to strip that bitch right off the store.
All right.
Cool! So if you haven't already bought Mirror's Edge, do it.
Well, they'll re-release that shit at some point.
Well, that's probably, you know what, this might be like some Donkey Kong, like Tropical Freeze type shit, where they're like, all right, we're just going to take this off the storefront so we can re-up and charge full price for it.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's see, where am I at? Yes, and finally in gaming news this week, in the midst of all of the acquisition memes, of course the Activision Blizzard thing is what I'm talking about, Microsoft has cited the Tencent, Apple, and Google's mobile revenues as reasons why it wants to make this acquisition happen, or part of the reason why. In 2022, so we get this information now, we didn't have this before, but in 2022, Tencent by itself in mobile alone pulled $32.5 billion. That's a lot of money. And to put that into context, Apple made $14.8 billion in the same period. And Google, 12.4. $32.5 billion on Tencent in mobile alone. That's not anything else Tencent's got its hands in. And as we all know, Tencent got its hands in every damn cookie jar on Aunt Jemima.
I should have bought Tencent stock, and I was gonna, like, last year, because the shit tanked. So it literally tanked like a third of what it was. And like now it's up like 40% on the year.
It's so well.
The last 6 months.
Tencent as a Chinese company is like one of those gambles. It could have continued to tank.
Yeah.
And you would, like, how the fuck are you supposed to be able to gauge what the Chinese government is going to do? At any given moment. But for now, $32.5 billion in 2022 alone, just for mobile gaming. With again, Apple having $14.8 billion and $12.4 billion going to Google. As well, we got to see what the relative market share of each of these things were, and funnily enough, they almost matched the billions, the numbers in percents. So Tencent at 35% of the total mobile market, which is insane to have just one company have 35% of the mobile market. 16% for Apple, and 13% for Android or Google. Apple's passive income from mobile alone made almost as much as the entire Xbox division in the same period. Xbox division made just over 15 bill, and Apple's passive mobile income 14.8.
Apple prints money, bro.
But that's Microsoft's argument here is like, look, like you're looking, as we all know, this is only about Call of Duty, and Microsoft's like, look, I know Call of Duty is big, but you got to look at what this is not. This market is not what you think it is.
No.
And you don't understand what the competition is unless you want everything to just be owned by like basically Tencent. Really, if we're gonna be honest, with Tencent and Apple, like you got to allow some of the other people like us that still have all this money that we can still get in and be competitive in some way. This would be a smart thing to let us do. And so, that's got to weigh in on it. It can't just be Sony going, Call of Duty. And that's it for gaming news, Mr. Black, which means it's time to move on and give us a little bit of the sponsor talk.
Well, first we got Patreon, patreon.com/legtv. Head on over there, support. I'm still working out some potential StarCraft stuff. We might venture out, try it, see what happens. I know tons of people have already been messaging me. I've been getting emails. People have been coming on the stream. So, we got to give them what they want. So, that's coming. So head on over there, support the Patreon. And sponsor. So the 11-year anniversary for NordVPN is officially up. We are back on the promo where you get 4 bonus months when you get a 2-year subscription when you use the promo code OTT. So that's nordvpn.com/OTT. Stay safe, stay anonymous when you're on the internet. Watch different regions of Netflix and other streaming services at the click of a button. Guys, it's 2023. If you don't have a VPN, what are you doing? I think if I were to put 30 people that are on the computer all the time in a line and ask them for the VPN, I would hope that at least 50% got a VPN. 2023. People are out there to steal your information. So be protected. Stay anonymous when you're on the internet. Whether you're at home or you're traveling, you're at a friend's house, wherever. You're at the library, you're at Starbucks. Use NordVPN. You can use it on your Android, on your Apple phones, on your Macs, your PC, your laptop, your iPad. They've got an app virtually for everything, even your smart TV. So make sure to go check them out. It's nordvpn.com/OTT. Use the promo code. Get the 4 bonus months, 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like it for whatever reason, within 30 days, get your money back. Plus, they have a threat protection, which is part of the desktop app that can run in the background of your PC to make it so that you're not getting bombarded with those malicious ads. It will detect and remove malware off your PC. It's a great service, guys. Plus, they've got other services under the NordVPN umbrella as well. If you want password protection, all that stuff, just go check them out. Link is in the description below. They've been supporting the podcast for a long time. So if you're in the market for VPN or you're up for renewal, use the promo code OTT. And that's it.
And now it's time for
movies and TV.
Preach! We're still in the hot girl revival season, it seems, Mr. Black. Kenan and Kel announced Good Burger 2 is set for release on Paramount Plus. I actually never saw the original Good Burger. I feel like I missed out on some sort of weird early 2000s, whatever, like a cornerstone of the zeitgeist.
It was the late 90s. It was late 90s.
Was it late 90s? I didn't know if it was late 90s or like 2002 or some shit.
Yeah, it's a 90s movie. It's like one of those cult classics, It's like is it like a good film? No. But like if you grew up with it and it was around that time, you're gonna really enjoy it. So
So
we'll see what they can do.
This is gonna sound really awful, and it's not intended to sound awful. But is this like a tangential version of like fucking Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle type of a movie?
Similar. It's got a similar vibe to it. Like,
Yeah, so obviously not the same plot, but like that kind of vibe. Like, is it that kind of?
It's got like that vibe, or like a Coming to America type '90s comedy, black film. It's just a movie. I actually think you'd enjoy it. Like, I think
probably
that it's
would.
probably your type. Yeah, I think you'd actually find it funny.
I've known of it, but I've never seen it. Like in all my time scrolling through movies and stuff to watch, like not once has that shit ever come across the front of me. And I've always known it's there, and I've seen like a million like clips and shit, but I've never actually watched the full movie.
And I haven't seen it since I was like 14 years old, 13 or 14. I remember watching it with Coleus a few times at my grandmother's, but outside of that, I haven't seen it in a long time. So I'll definitely rewatch it before. I'm sure Kayla hasn't seen it, so I'll probably rewatch it before it comes out, and then go check it out.
And then check that out. Yeah. They were pretty excited about it. They've stayed friends this whole time, so the chemistry is still likely to be there. I doubt it will be a bad time. John, I think this is pronounced Spates. John Spates, who wrote the Dune movie, is also writing the script for Netflix's live-action Gears of War movie. And I just have here in the notes, all I have to add to this is just as long as Dave Bautista's in the damn thing, I don't fucking care.
Oh, 100% Dave Bautista's going to be in it, and he's going to star in it.
He better!
100%.
I will literally not watch that shit if Dave Bautista's not in that movie.
Didn't they already kind of announce it? Like,
I don't know, did they? I don't know.
Gears of War. Like, I thought they kind of already, like, Dave Bautista had like a little spot where
I can't remember if it was that or if it was just him saying, "Hey guys, remember me?"
It might be.
I'm here.
Might be it. Yeah, I don't know, but I would imagine Dave Bautista will be in the film and be a star. And he's. It's like the perfect thing for him. It's a Netflix movie. He's already in the Netflix umbrella. It's a movie that like you don't want to have like an A-list actor. Like, Dave Bautista, I wouldn't necessarily call him an A-list actor, but like
he's a B+.
He's like on the fringe. Yeah, he's like on the fringe where he's famous enough that like, oh shit, it's Dave Bautista. He loves the property. It's like the perfect fit. He's not going to be like too expensive. It's a passion project that he would love to do. And I think you would just piss off just about every Gears of War fan out there if you decided to go with somebody else over Dave Bautista.
God.
The only other person that I could see that would be good in the role, and he still might be part, is that Frank guy. Is it Frank Drillo or Frank Drillo? Is that his name? Yeah, that's it. This dude right here. So this guy right here, he's like, can't believe I actually remember this guy's name. But this guy right here, he would be good in the movie too. And he's in a lot of these like action type movies, and I think he would fit. He would fit well within the whole Gears.
Yeah,
he's nowhere near as famous as Dave Bautista, but like he's in a lot of movies. Like if you were to look up his filmography, he's in a lot of stuff, and it's like his wheelhouse. So I think he'd be also good in the movie.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. There's a couple people you could probably, think of, not as like leading roles. I could think of people that might work in the movie. But yeah, like as far as like a lead, holy shit, how do you not take Dave fucking Bautista? So hopefully that's the case. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, because we don't necessarily have the answers just yet. Next up, we got Renfield got its final trailer, and my God, it looks gloriously camp. I fucking love it. This is, we're Dave Bautista's perfect for that. Nicolas Cage, you couldn't find a better person to play this fucking movie, or play the role in this movie. Incredible. Watching this dude turn into like fucking mist and go inside us and blow that motherfucker up is just perfect, and it's crazy Nicolas Cage in a way that works for the film, and it isn't just Nick Cage being crazy. And so yeah, I hope this movie does well. I think it's going to do okay. It's obviously not going to make $6 trillion, but I think it's going to do quite well. And I think this might be one that does really well on like streaming services later on.
Yeah.
Where it does some big numbers. Crazy Nick Cage doing Renfield sounds like a good time. And finally here, speaking of Apple, once again, Apple is apparently prepared, Mr. Black, to spend $1 billion. I fucking hate that I didn't even look at the screen and we both still did that shit at the same time. It's fucked up. $1 billion a year on films to break into the market. The plan is to do multiple theatrical releases and to use those releases to promote its streaming service. Mr. Black, how are we feeling about Apple's odds in this bitch?
Pretty good.
Because Netflix is spending about that much money.
Yes.
And has been for some time.
Yes.
Yes. And they've been only, I guess, moderately successful in the grand scheme of things, as far as like getting that money back.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think Apple cares about return on investment. I think they just want to break into the market and then kind of go from there.
Well, they're making $14 billion in passive mobile income. We just discovered that.
$1 billion for them guys is a fucking fart.
It's a dollar. It's a fucking dollar.
It's a literal dollar. It's like me opening up my wallet and saying there's $5 in my wallet. That's $1 billion to them. Oh.
It's a $1 trillion company. They'll be okay.
Yeah.
They'll be okay. I mean, they've produced some good shows and whatnot thus far. And so I think what I'm interested in is to see what their films are like that they're targeting specifically for theatrical releases, because that's always going to be a little different than when you're making something for your platform. And so it will be definitely fun to see just what that ends up looking like when they start pushing out their films. And then there's who is it that produced it? Air, the Nike story with fucking that
Ben Affleck's
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
I can't. Is that Netflix or is that fucking or Amazon or who backed that?
I'd have to go check. I'd have to go take a look.
I can't remember, but that's apparently also crushing it. Like the reviews on that have been.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, when I saw the trailer for that, we talked about it in the podcast when the trailer first dropped, the first one, and I was like, "Fuck me, yes." I mean, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are a ridiculous,
Yeah, it's going to
power
theaters
pair
on April 5th.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought for some reason in my mind, in my head canon, it was a dual release, like a short theatric run into I thought it was somebody else, but maybe I'm conflating that with another movie.
Dude, this got such a crazy cast. There's so many people.
Oh my god, dude! Fucking everyone in that movie. Yeah. What's the current score on that bitch? Because it was literally 10 for a while on multiple reviews. So I don't know where we're at now. 93 maybe or something like that.
I don't know. I can't find it.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, it's 100. It's 100.
Oh, it's still at 100? How many reviews are in on that bitch? Like 12?
17.
Oh, okay. That's still pretty impressive.
Yeah. It's going to be amazing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely going to be interested in watching that bad boy. John Wick 4, actually, while we're looking at scores, where's John Wick was sitting at 93 or 94 for a while, which for an action movie.
95.
God
95.
Damn!
It's 148 reviews. So
holy shit!
Yeah.
Is that the greatest action film of all time right now? What the fuck?
We're going to find out.
You know what's crazy, though? They announced, I read today, the original cut was like 3 hours, 45 minutes.
Holy fuck.
And the guys said they sat down at the editing table, looked at the runtime and went, we're fucked. But bro, that implies there is so much extra action and shit that is not in this film. Yeah. I have never wanted, I know I don't want to see it in the theaters, but I've never wanted a fucking director's cut so hard in my life.
Oh, it's coming. It'll come.
Oh my god. It's going to put the Lord of the Rings shit to shame, but you know what? I will watch the fuck out of a 3 hour and 45 minute director's cut John Wick film all day. Just not in the theater. At home where I can pause it, take a piss, take a break.
I don't think I'm watching any movie for 4 hours in the theater, if I'm going to be honest.
What if it was Lord of the Rings, though?
I mean, I'd probably do it.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would do it. I would do
yeah.
it. Who am I kidding? But I wouldn't be happy about it.
but you have to.
But
It's
you
like
have to.
it's just it's a required viewing. That's all I've got for movies and TV. Anything else come across for you this
Nothing.
week? Been watching
Nothing.
anything on your days off at all, or you've been?
No, Kayla and I are still hammering through some shitty reality TV shows. That's pretty much
Okay.
That's been it.
So what replaced MILF Manor, since clearly that got dropped off the fucking cliff pretty quick, or did you actually continue to watch that and torture yourself?
Yeah, we're still watching it. We're probably gonna watch. We're gonna probably watch some tonight because it was coming out once a week. So we haven't watched it for like almost 3 weeks. So I think we have 4 episodes to watch. So, but man, it's painful. It's painful.
Bro, I saw a
Don't
commercial. Randomly, I was on the couch. I was like doing some house related sorting bullshit. It was in the living room, so I just had the TV on at the time, and something had finished. I was watching. So I don't even remember what I was watching originally, but something finished, and it was on TLC, and I didn't even know I was on TLC at the time. And then it rolled over to the next show. And it was 90 Day fucking, whatever. It was the other way, the one where like the Americans, go find out that they really don't want to live in the Middle East, like that one. And so they've got that playing, and then it cuts to commercial, and it was a commercial for MILF Manor.
Horrible. It's horrible. It's
I
horrible.
don't even know how you get through a single episode of that shit, bro.
It's been painful, and usually Kayla and I are like laugh at the pain, but this is like cringe bad. So
instead of laughing at the pain, you're hiding the pain.
That's it.
On this one. All right, now it's time to move on to
tech support.
Patreon.com/LikeTV is the place to go if you want to get a little bit of something. I think so, Mr. Black. You can confirm if you've got some of the some more of those tubes with the caps, if you still have those. And
Yep.
I don't know how much of the. I don't think I have any of the pins. I have like a box. Do you have do you have more posters? Because I've got like 700 fucking posters here.
I got posters, pins, everything.
Okay, so I meant to give it to you. I actually have like the address shit, because what I'm gonna do is like what we did last time. Fucking put the whole thing on a dock, and then when Kayla is super bored, Kai's asleep, I don't know, buy her something. And then just have, because her handwriting a lot better than mine or yours, and then we're gonna take that stuff. But for $10 more a month, you get a couple of extra little spicy bits. Chiefly, you get to ask us questions each every week in a thing called tech support. Post up a post on Patreon in which you can then ask us questions, and we give you the answers that you seek. And evidently, in the not too distant future, in some way, shape, or form, we're going to spin this into some form of StarCraft cast. We'll figure out the logistics of that and make that happen. But for now, you get the old-fashioned one. Let's see what we got this week. Oh boy, Seth. Okay, Mr. Black.
Mm-hmm.
What is douchier? Chromed everything or way too tinted windows?
Chrome everything.
It is harder to make a car look awful with overly tinted windows. Now, mind you, I've never in my life been a fan of like blackout tint. I think it looks fucking terrible. Yeah. But if you watch dudes, first of all, that can even afford to be driving like to and from their desk job in an $80,000 fucking like diesel truck that's the size of a school bus, and then they go out of their way to buy like the chrome package, which is inarguably one of the ugliest things I've ever seen in my life. There's a couple of them in the city, not many, thankfully. The truck drivers around here use their trucks too much to be fucking putting chrome on everything, but there's a few guys. They've got the lifted fucking mean, the whole 9 yards, and every accent that was originally like plastic or whatever is now chrome, and it looks
awful,
so bad. It looks awful, and it weighs a ton. So like whatever, well, it's not pure, it's not chrome anymore. It's like plated, but still, like just don't do that, please. But also don't go 100% tint.
Don't do that either.
Not even the shit in fucking Fast and the Furious was out here fucking 100% tint. Have some taste. You know, past 60%, you're pushing it. You're pushing it. Let's see. Logan, kind of sort of related to this, I suppose. Hey guys, what's the sketchiest moment you've ever had while driving? I can think of Jeff's probably, or one of them. Actually, I can think of a few.
Well, I can think of a few. I mean, the sketchiest for me is when I got my transmission changed to a manual, and then I went on the highway, and they forgot to close my bonnet fully, and I'm on the highway, and the fucking hood just flies up. That was sketchy as fuck, and almost literally killed us. So.
Yeah. I'll say my favorite of Jeff's, and I've told the story several times before. My favorite, one of my core, late teens memories when we were old enough to drive and shit, was driving to the fucking Elements League in Sackville, and it was fucking the craziest snowstorm. I swear to God, I can't. I know I exaggerate a lot. I swear to you, I'm not exaggerating. There was an actual 1.5 feet of snow on the road. No plows.
How do we do? How do we
anywhere? In the whole city. We drove the whole way to it's like a 45-minute drive, and there wasn't a single plow anywhere.
Even the plows are like, fuck this.
They were just like, we're gonna wait for the morning. And I remember having to convince my parents that I should be able to drive to this thing, because I had to drive some guys, because I had the van. I had Dad's van. Dad's work van, which, by the way, just had some old-ass all-seasons. There were no winter tires on that bitch. It's just old-ass. And there was no weight because he stripped the seats out of the fucking back of it. So there's no weight, all-season, 10-year-old Chevy Venture and a dream. And I remember Dad literally looking at Mom. I can still see this. It was at night, fucking dark outside, snow's coming down. And Dad just looks at Mom and goes, he'll be fine. And Mom was like... okay, fine, I'll let you have this one, and gave me the keys, and I'm driving behind Jeff, and we hadn't even gotten to halfway yet. We were still kind of close to home, and I still remember Jeff's windshield wipers just did not work at all. And so this Civic he was driving, by the way, if you don't know, was it 92? The 92 Civic? 91 Honda Civic hatchback. Oh, yeah. And this bitch had seen some shit already. It also definitely did not have winter tires on it at the time, and the tires were definitely bordering on bald for sure. Windshield wipers don't fucking work, and so Jeff's pulling like a goddamn and a snowstorm, whiteout conditions everywhere. And Jeff's pulling an Ace Ventura where he manually rolls down his fucking window and straight face out the side of the fucking car, because it's the only way he could see. I know, I still don't think you could have seen. The snow was just pelting you in the face. That was the dumbest thing we've probably ever done in a car that I was involved with. That same night when I took the guys back and I dropped one off, I was parked on a hill. And when I put it back in drive, the van went into a backslide, and I couldn't stop it. And I was going down a hill to park cars on the road on both sides of me. And I was by myself at that point, and I was shitting myself. And I'm looking backwards, and I'm whipping the wheel around, trying to get any fucking traction anywhere. And I did a 360. Fucking full fucking rotation in the middle of the road, the Chevy fucking Venture. And I came a cock hair away from just demolishing one of the fucking parked cars. And I got to the bottom, and the car come to a sliding stop bottom of the hill, and I just sat there for about 5 minutes. I saw my life just flashing before my eyes, because all I can see is in my head is Mom sitting in the chair, looking at me, looking at Dad, and going,
yeah.
I would have been fucked if that had happened. Thankfully,
we survived, bro.
We survived, but that's probably my dumbest thing we ever fucking... beyond that, the only other thing I can think of is when I was driving out to the family home one year, and the old, this is only Jeff and people who live in the area would know, but the sawdust, and paper pulp mill that's out on the fucking highway 102 or whatever the fuck, or 101. So that big corner that sweeps around it going out of the city. So I was out there, and there was a guy that had it was a truck that had a trailer hitched to the back of it. One of those not encased, but just those open low-rise trailers. Mm-hmm. Had some shit in the back tied down, and he didn't know how to fucking. He obviously didn't latch it properly to the truck. And he didn't weight the trailer enough. He didn't weight it properly. And so when he started taking the corner, it started to wave on him. on the back end, started to fishtail on him. And if nobody's ever been in that situation before, if you don't know how to handle that, your response is to sometimes try to, like, you know, steer out of it or fucking, like, do it. And he's doing everything wrong. And I'm, like, fucking 30 feet away from him, and I'm watching it. And the thing's starting to lift. The fucking trailer's starting to lift fucking tire off the road and shit. And I slammed the brakes on because it just about fucking tipped. And he slammed his brakes on. Finally, he decided slowing down might be the fucking way to go. And just dead stop both of us in the middle of the highway. And so, yeah, I thought I was going to fucking bite one there. That was like some what was that stupid movie series called? Oh my god, the one where everyone's like right on the verge of dying all the time.
Final Destination.
Final Destination. I felt like I was in a fucking Final Destination clip there for a second. But yeah, he just didn't weight the fucking trailer. So if you're gonna use a trailer, by the way, learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Lest you kill everyone on the fucking road in the meanwhile. Let's see here. A Dent, would you rather have robot hands or robot feet? Well, my current feet are fucked, so I'm gonna go with robot feet, personally. My hands work fucking great. My feet, not so much. So I'm gonna go robot feet. I also feel like in some way I could jump a lot fucking higher with that, so that might be neat. But then you could crush shit with your fucking hands, too. I don't know, but then you can't feel things necessarily.
I'm gonna go robot feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough though.
It is tough.
Let's see. Oh, this is not even a question. This is something I posted in Discord earlier today. Datbeard, how many sticks of butter do you have with your fucking hot dog bun, you sick fuck? So there's a tweet earlier I saw where somebody is at their house and their mom had decided that dinner was going to be hot dog buns with entire sticks of butter in each bun, and that was dinner.
Well, great. That's random.
Tasty.
That is random.
Nasty. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I know you sick fucks in the States have deep fried butter. Stop that.
Now.
For God's sake. Neil Pring, you are given a 55-gallon drum of lube, the legendary Amazon order that we all wish we could make. You have to use it all in a way that makes at least some sense. What do you do? He said the kiddie pool / plus bikini wrestling competition is his idea.
I'm going with the world's greatest slip and slide.
That's a good one.
Just fucking an absolute amazing slip and slide.
Dude, slip and slides, just thinking about them gives me like phantom pain. Because when I was younger and I went on the slip and slide, one of them, there was like the classic, there was a rock that ended up being underneath the fucking thing. And I hit the fucking rock, and now I can't. Every time I see kids like, slip and slide, I'm like, no! Don't! Head first down one of those fuckers? We were insane. Why in the fuck is that even legal? It's crazy. That would be pretty good, though. Slip and slide with a 55-gallon drum of lube would be pretty good. Oh, man.
Mandatory, I think, at that point. What else are you going to use that much lube for?
I mean, that's I'm trying to think. What else are you going to use?
Slip and slide, obviously.
Man. Yeah, I don't even know. I think slip and slide is probably the best. Man. That's the best answer. What are you going to do? Call up Guinness World Book of Records and be like, I'm going to attempt to run the biggest train?
Yes. No, it's a slip and slide.
It's definitely a slip and slide. Let's see here. Neil with the follow-up. Let's pretend your entire life had an epic musical score, ideally by Hans Zimmer. What would have been your why do I hear boss music moment? Bonus question, what would the song have been? So basically what he's asking is, at what point in your life can you think of that you would have been, that might have been like why am I hearing boss music right now? And then what song might that boss music have been?
I'm gonna go with Lose My Virginity.
Why am I hearing boss music? Okay.
Boss music and
what was the song?
I'm going with man, I gotta think of a good one here. I'm gonna go, dude. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be music from movies, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, it's just whatever you could consider your boss theme music.
Well, I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy boss music. So
Okay. All right.
uh,
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that because it was a fight to stay hard, and it was a
The
fight. It was a fight.
performance anxiety was
It
real.
was it was very real, and I ended up losing the fight.
Ah, hate to see it.
I lost.
Hate
the
to
fight.
see it. That's a real problem. And performance anxiety is tough, bro.
Mm.
Once you're up in your head, it's all over, bro. You can't.
It's over. It's
you
over.
can't
It's happened.
get-
It's happened to me several times in my life.
Oh yeah.
Several.
It can happen. Sometimes you haven't been fucked in like just a little bit, like any small amount of time. And you're like, have I lost the touch? Am I only gonna last 5 minutes here because it's been so long? And you start thinking about that shit, and then you're just fucked up. You can't get you can't get over it. Man, what would mine be? um, uh, I'm going to say grade 9 field trip, standing in Newfoundland, looking out the ferry terminal in that crazy storm, and watching the 3 ferries fucking basically get thrown in the air in the fucking like harbor while docked, and finding out that it was the smallest like lifeboat-sized fucking ferry that we were going to be trying to take to get across this water, and seeing all of that. I'm going to say that's going to be it. As for the turning the typically 5-hour trip into a 12.5-hour long meme fest of projectile vomiting and broken glass, I'm gonna go with what would be a good boss theme for that? Honestly, even though Jeff like said Final Fantasy, I'm gonna go with Sephiroth's theme because the violin string hits with the lightning and the fucking storm, I think would go very well. And then my teacher coming over and putting a hand on my shoulder and said, "How you doing?" I said, "Is that the boat we're taking? That small little fucking boat?" And he was like, "Yep." This is great.
Not doing so well. Actually.
Not doing so well, actually.
I want to go home.
I want to go home now. or when we got there and then there was like a dude that had just tried to like kill somebody with an axe like on the premises 15-20 minutes before we got there. There's police tape everywhere. That was also pretty good.
Great.
Same boss music for that, really. Let's just apply that same boss music to all of that stuff. Let's see. Last question. I'll just double check to make sure we don't have any stragglers coming in. Nope. Last question of the week. What is? Oh, this is coming in again from the great name PP Insider. What is the dumbest thing you ever did to impress a girl?
The dumbest thing I ever did to impress a girl.
I don't know if I ever did anything remarkably stupid to impress a girl before.
I don't think I have either. I don't think I have.
I've like, in an attempt to impress them in a normal way, I've fucked up and made myself look like an idiot, but I haven't done some sort of unhinged behavior to try and impress them.
I can honestly say, like, I don't think I've done a whole lot to impress a girl. I mean, I'm trying to think. I've like done something stupid.
So in that vein, I'll say, like, back in high school, and Natalie and I we weren't really dating yet. Like, we were just like, it was super new. And it was a situation where it was like, I asked her, we had a basketball game, and it was going to be at our school, a home game. Said, "You gonna come to the basketball game later? Because I'm the starting power forward for the team. I'm thinking this is my chance. This is where I can do something impressive." And she was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll come to the basketball game." So she comes to the basketball game. She's sitting up in the fucking bleachers or whatever. I know where she's sitting. And I go out there. I'm like, "All right, Adam, you got to put on a fucking show tonight." I shit the fucking bed the whole goddamn game.
Oh, damn.
Worst game of the season. I crumbled under pressure. I couldn't handle it. I had like one block and 4 fucking points, and that was my entire night. And I was just like, man, like of all the fucking games, Adam, that had to be the one. So that was kind of embarrassing. I was kind of salty about it, but
it's crazy. I actually I can't recall anything that I've done like out of desperation to get a girl's attention or something. Like I don't think I've ever really done, like I've done some embarrassing things that I've known for myself, but like never. Oh man. I don't know. I'm stumped. And you would think that I would have all kinds of things. Yeah, but performance anxiety, I don't really think that really, like, I guess.
No, that was just what I was.
suppose,
That
like-
was just. I think she's referring to like my basketball thing. It was
Oh.
performance anxiety, which that's what it was. I was trying so hard to do well that you fucking, you fail miserably.
Yeah. I don't have an answer. I actually don't have an answer because I can honestly say it. I haven't done anything. I've never been desperate to get a girl's attention. Like, don't get me wrong. There
Yeah.
are girls in my life that, like, I tried to spit some game. I tried to get the Riz, but like it just wasn't happening. But like I never was desperate. I never like done anything that made me really uncomfortable to impress a girl. I just haven't
I
done
never
it.
that never even like crossed my mind to try and do anything stupid.
Yeah.
Or like bold. And I've not known, that's gotta be like a fucking movie trope or some shit, because I've never even known that many dudes who have done remarkably stupid shit to try and get a girl's attention.
Yeah, it's not like American Pie or something, where you're just doing something fucking over the top. But I don't know. Maybe in the comments section, you guys can let us know.
Yeah, let us know. Do you do some crazy shit
you've done to impress a girl?
That's right. Maybe that's the solution. All right, and with that, unfortunately, we didn't have anything exciting to tell you at the end, but that's the end of the Technical Alpha Podcast. That's a quick one today, ladies and gentlemen. $1.12. For those of you who are still driving to work for the next hour, sorry. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it. Patreon.com/LikeTV if you want to financially support and keep this bad boy going. As Jeff mentioned, he is trying to wrangle up some way of doing the StarCraft stuff, and then we're gonna just figure out how logistically we're gonna make that happen for recording some stuff. It won't be in a live environment. I don't think like we're doing here. I don't think that will be possible, but we will come up with some way of doing that. We'll figure something out and try and make it happen. So if you're someone out there, you're thinking, hey, I still occasionally play some StarCraft. Then maybe sit, play some games and
do some dumb shit and send
sit
your
on some replays.
Send some replays to lifesaglitchtv@gmail.com.
Are you still logged in on that motherfucker?
No. Do we even have the login for information for that?
I do. I definitely do. I definitely do.
Send some replays to lifesaglitchtv@gmail.com. It might be enough to just get us started, and then obviously during the cast we can make announcements for the stuff. We'll
try and figure it out.
Yeah, send some interesting stuff.
All right. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again. Stay safe out there. Have a great weekend, and peace.
Peace.